Okay, today our topic is exponents. We're going to write expressions using integer exponents, and we're going to evaluate expressions involving integer exponents. A power is whenever you have the product of repeated factors. It's the whole entire exponent base problem. You can see right here the power they're showing is the whole thing here. Now, what's telling us to multiply or what's telling us how many times to multiply is our exponent. That's our little number up top. And then the base is what's actually being multiplied. So if I have 2 to the third power, this whole thing is our power, 2 is my base, and 3 is my exponent. Now, whenever you're writing products using exponents, you take your base, what's being repeatedly multiplied, which in this case is -7, and then you just count how many times it's being multiplied. We have 3, -7, so this would be -7 to the third power. Sometimes we have multiple bases, like in example B, we have a pi and an r. So we just look and say we have a base of pi that's being multiplied 2 times. We also have a base of r that is being multiplied 3 times. You try number 1 and number 2, pause the video, give yourself a minute, and then whenever you're done, unpause the video so you can see if you got them right. Okay, so let's look. On number 1, you have 1/4 being multiplied repeatedly. So 1/4 is your base, and you can see that there are 5 of them, so that gives us an exponent of 5. And on number 2, we have a base of 3/10 that's being multiplied 4 times, and a base of x that's being multiplied 2 times. Now we're going to evaluate expressions. Before we were just writing them using the exponents. Now we're going to evaluate them. You can see on both A and B we have a -2 to the 4th power, but they're different. One is in parentheses and one's not in parentheses. And so the difference is when they're in parentheses, we literally want 4 -2's. And you can see we continue to write them in parentheses. Now, whenever you multiply these, -2 times -2, same sign means positive. So we end up with a +4. Same thing on this one. -2 times -2 is +4. And we know +4 times +4 is a +16. Now, on this problem, they're saying what is the negative of 2 to the 4th power? Or what's the opposite of 2 to the 4th power? So we bring our negative down once. Because we're basically saying we want to figure out what 2 to the 4th power is and then take the negative of that. -2 times 2 is -4. +2 times +2 is 4. And -4 times +4 is -16. Another way that you can look at this is split these up. You know 2 to the 4th power is 16, and just bring your negative sign into your answer. Every time you see a negative base with your exponent, you know your answer is going to be negative. Now, it depends on what your exponent is, if it's in parentheses, as to whether your answer is going to be negative or not. You just have to multiply it out and see. All right, whenever we start evaluating the whole entire expression, we just follow the order of operations. We have parentheses, exponents, multiply and divide in order from left to right. And add and subtract in order from left to right. So on this one, we have 3 plus 2 times 3 to the 4th power. We have to multiply our exponents out first. And we know that 3 to the 4th power is 3 times 3 times 3 times 3. 3 times 3 is 9. And 9 times 9 is 81. And we bring down everything we haven't used yet. Now we have to multiply. 2 times 81 is 162. We have to bring down our +3. And 3 plus 162 is 165. Now on our second one, we have 2 exponents. We have subtraction and division. We're going to do our exponents first. So 3 to the 3rd power. 3 times 3 is 9. Times 3 is 27. Minus this 8 squared is 8 times 8, which is 64. And we're going to bring down our divided by 2. Now we have to do division before we can do subtraction. So 64 divided by 2 is 32. We're going to bring down our 27 and our subtraction sign. Now remember, whenever you're subtracting exponents, you change the minus to a plus, change the sign of next. So we have 27 plus negative 32. And when we have different signs, one of these is positive and one is negative, we end up subtracting. 32 minus 27 is 5. You take the sign of the larger number. 32 is a larger number and it's negative, so our answer is negative 5. Try these 4, pause your video, and then whenever you're ready, unpause so you can see if you got the right answer. Okay, on number 3, you should have the negative of 5 times 5 times 5 times 5, which is negative 625. Number 4, it's in parentheses, so we have negative 1/6 times negative 1/6 times negative 1/6, which is negative 2, 1.
Teachers and students may have your
Sorry, we got caught by the announcements there. All right, on number 5, we have the absolute value of negative 3 to the third power divided by 27. Whenever you do your negative 3 to the third power, you get negative 27. Negative 27 divided by 27 is negative 1, but we're taking the absolute value of negative 1, which is 1. On number 6, we're going to evaluate 2 to the 5th power first and get 32. We're going to do 32 times 1/2, which is 16, and 9 minus 16 is negative 7. And that's it for exponents. I hope you learned something.